I want to tell you about the night my brothers and I stood together and discussed whether jumping from the roof of a 7-story building was better than what was happening on the streets below. I have never spoken about this publicly, not because I'm ashamed of what we were thinking at the time, but because some truths need the right space. And enough time has passed that I know exactly what that night taught me. By the end of this video, I want to give you 4 things Sam taught me about what to do when everything around you falls apart. Not from a book, not from a course, but from a man who cooked us dinner in the middle of the worst night in our lives. And I want to start by telling you who Sam was, so that when I tell you what he did, you will understand what it cost him. In December 2007, we had our elections in Kenya, and unfortunately, the presidential elections were disputed, which led to the country fracturing along tribal lines, and this only meant one thing: was election violence erupted. I don't think it was planned. Some people say it was, but there was just violence everywhere. There was chaos everywhere. It just happened overnight. You just hear sounds of houses being burned, people crying, people wailing, machetes all over the place, people being killed. Unfortunately, people were caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some people were traveling back home when the news came in about the final presidential elections, which were disputed, irrespective of where you were caught at the moment when the election erupted. If you're caught on the wrong side, in a side where it was predominantly not your tribe, that was it. In Ruma, where I was born and raised and where I grew up, was one of the worst hit places in the country. There were fires everywhere, houses being burned down, the sound of machetes all over the place, bodies on the streets who had been killed. And remember, this comes from a man who I witnessed a lot of muggings and stabbings and people being killed growing up, just walking on my way to school. But this was on a next level sort of experience. I was in the house, my 2 elder brothers, Evans and Sam, and the sound that was coming from the windows will tell you exactly what was happening outside. Just the sound, the wailing and the screaming, and the sound of fire and gunshots all over the place, because the police were also there trying to calm or sort of bring some peace and order, which their efforts were all just futile at the end of the day. I had never seen anything like this before in my life. The violence that was going on had a specific kind of quality embedded in it. This sort of violence was not one that I was used to, the random kind, which I experienced on my way to school most days. This was organized, it was targeted. It wasn't just a fight, it was a hunt. And depending on where your tribal line fell, you're either on the wrong side or the good side. The first thing extreme fear does is clarify. Everything non-essential disappears, and you're left with one question: what do I do now? With all the sounds popping off outside, with all the wailing and screaming, fire and everything going on, extreme fear crept in. Evans and myself, we sort of, in lack of a better word, I would say we were paralyzed at the time. We didn't really know what to do. We panicked for our lives. And at the time, we were just wondering, what should we do? I started having my own thoughts. I bet at the time, Evans and Sam also having their own thoughts. But eventually, Evans and myself sort of came up with a plan. We knew that the ones attacking us were drawing closer and closer towards us. We could hear them coming closer. We could see them from the balcony with their machetes, gaining territory bit by bit, burning houses bit by bit. And the closer they came, extreme fear crept in. And the options were limited at that time. Remember, this is not fear of the unknown. This is fear of the known. You know what's going to happen. You know, the moment those people reach our building, they'll climb up and they'll go house by house, slaughtering people. Because we had seen it happening to other houses from a distance. We had seen people being killed, people being hacked to death with machetes, and he knew the same fate was approaching us. It was the first time I actually used our chemistry background, because we started building petrol bombs in the house, just by taking a bottle, some kerosene in it, a wick. That's how desperate we were. That's how fearful we were for our lives. We were like, it's either fight or flight mode kicked in. We knew that was a very temporary sort of action. It will not stop the masses approaching towards us, and we had to figure out another way. And at that point is when Evans and myself contemplated the thought. We agreed, you know what, there's no way we are going to allow those people to come and hack us to death. That's not the way we'll accept our lives coming to an end. So instead, what we decided was, you know what, we are up here on top of a 7-story building. We'll go to the top of the roof and jump. That was our decision. Because at that point, the thought of jumping from a 7-story building and dying on impact was a less painful death than having to be hacked to death in front of your siblings. And that is what extreme fear does. Narrows your option until all options look the same. Because in that case, dying from being hacked or dying from jumping was the same. The end result was the same. But what was less painful? That was the only thing we were focused on. In the middle of all that, our brother Sam was in the kitchen making chapatis. You won't believe it. While we are here, we couldn't even imagine the thought of eating. We are contemplating jumping. We are contemplating a less painful way to go out. My brother, on the other hand, was making chapatis. And I want to make this clear. This was not a case of us contemplating suicide. It was a case of us finding a less painful way of dying, just because that was our situation at the time. We were boxed in a corner and you have to figure out a way. Sam was quite a character. He was the calmest person in the entire building. While Evans and I were sat there doing nothing, panicking, he cooked us dinner. Of course, as you can imagine, we never ate it. We were too frightened to eat anything at that moment in time. But he made it anyway. He made it while the world was falling apart. I have thought about that dinner hundreds of times since Sam died last year. The meal he made that we never ate, what it took to be the person who made it. What does it take to be the calmest person in the building full of people, all contemplating the worst? I still do not fully understand, and I'll probably spend the rest of my life trying to understand this. Sam did not stop the violence. He could not, but he did the one thing he could. He made us dinner, made us chapatis. In any crisis, you cannot control the crisis. You can only control the next practical thing in front of you. Sam's next practical thing was to make us dinner. What is yours? We survived the night. I do not know exactly how, but she did. And the next morning when my uncle arrived with police escort, I remember I felt something, not really relief, but rather quiet, just felt quiet. The country slowly healed. My brothers and I slowly healed from what we experienced that night. But something was different after that night. That night changed how I understand fear. It changed what I think strength should look like. And it gave me the most important leadership lesson I've ever had in my life, from a man who was just trying to make his brothers dinner. So the violence kept on going through the night. And for some weird reason, for some miracle, they never reached our building, because from the other side, coming from Madare, there were people fighting on our corner, and they slowly advanced and sort of pushed the ones attacking us, sort of retreat. I guess that's what got us through the night. We survived such a horrible experience. That's why we are here today. We ended up not jumping as much as we got to the roof. We were ready to do it, but it didn't happen. And I'm grateful to God I'm here today. I'm here to share this story, just the learnings I've had in life, the various points in life, the various challenges that I've had in life. And I believe all these things will keep on pushing me forward, keep on giving me the strength. So when someone thinks that I'm weak, they can say things to break me. I've gone through the worst in life and I'm still here. And this will just give me fire to keep on pushing. No matter what lies ahead, I'll pick up on the lessons, each and every lesson I've learned from my entire life, and keep on moving forward, knowing that better days lies ahead. I've had worse days, I've had extreme challenging days, but I've overcome them for one reason or another, and I'll keep overcoming them, even in this new journey that I'm on. Here is what Sam taught me that night about what to do when everything is out of your control. The first one being, name the fear specifically. Do not say, oh, everything is terrible, but rather, we are afraid of being harmed and we do not know when this ends. Specify the fear, because being specific is manageable, whereas being vague is not really. The second thing is find the next practical thing, not the solution to the whole problem, but rather the next small doable thing. In this case, Sam's next doable thing was to make his brother's dinner. Yours might be to pick up a phone, a document, have a conversation with a friend, or just maybe go for a walk. The third thing he taught me was just do it. While the fear is still there, not after it passes, because the moment it passes, you cannot act. It only passes because you've acted, you've done something. In this case, Sam's case was he made us food, and through that process, the whole paralysis that you're having with my brother just passed away. The fourth thing is be the calm person in the room. Not because you feel calm, but because someone has to do the next practical thing, and that person might as well be you. Sam is gone now. He died last year, and every Sunday he bakes sourdough bread with his nephews as a way to honor him and also to heal from my grief. And every time I open the flour before I start baking, I think about that dinner, the dinner that he made us, that we never had the opportunity to eat. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be alive today, because that night, everything would have changed.